Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back in with another Market Watch investments video tonight. I hope you guys are making some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourself. We're going to get things kicked off today with Necroface. There's currently only 3 prints of this card available here in our TCG, and it's pretty incredible because you can see here the original secret rare print dying from Gladiator's Assault has always been a relatively expensive card. Artwork is just fantastic to start off with this card, but it's Gladiator Assault is just such an old set, and this card just doesn't have that many prints. I'm really surprised it hasn't had more reprints because it's relatively ancient. On the timetable now, we can see the majority of the lower end ones are all foreign here, and they're 200 plus to start with. And then we just quickly move into about almost 400 plus when we start to get into the first edition prints. Only 2 pages left. This card is just holding insane price points right now. It's always been relatively expensive, but this is just a whole nother level. I did not realize how much this has been increasing, so I wanted to take note of this. Of course, there is the common and the super rare versions, which again are still very old, and I'm just really surprised. This card is really good, mostly because it's for removal builds. It goes without saying. Looks like the last print was from Revivals of the Pharaoh, which was still quite a while ago. We have the super rare from the special edition Crimson Crisis, which is almost just as old as the secret rare print itself. This obviously being a healthy alternative to the secret rare doesn't look nearly as nice, but even the promos alone are holding a $5 price point, and they trickle up after that. Only 4 pages left, so I'm really hoping that this gets a reprint. I think this definitely deserves some kind of reprint. Hopefully they can get another secret rare reprint. I think that would help pull down the ridiculousness of the original secret rare print, and it would just be a nice, more achievable print to be able to run. I personally really like this a lot. I love running this in my removal decks with Grand Maju. Of course, you can pull this out with Gold Sarko. There's a lot of awesome combos that this can really kickstart. And for the longest time, it was hit to 1 on the ban list. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's at least at 2, if not 3 now. So just a really interesting card that I wanted to highlight really quick for you guys. The next card is going to be Firewall Dragon. So I've gone back and forth on this card. I've been reviewing it for pretty much ever since it came out. We had the whole shenanigans with the Danger Dark Worlds and the loop that quickly got taken care of with the ban list, but there's just so much rich history behind this card. It's a huge anime protagonist card. It's got amazing artwork. It was one of the very first big beastly link cards, and this is already, like, as I've been saying for several months, probably if not a year now, it's slowly starting to trickle its way into the collector's market. I mean, how could anyone not see this happening? Was picking these up all days long, left and right, for 5 bones here, 5 bones that. Again, this is for the original print, Code of the Duelist first edition secret rare prints, and it's almost doubled in price. We can see the first one here is about 8.5, and then it trickles up to about 9, and then it goes straight to 10. So in about a year's time, it's already jumped up. It's already doubled in price, and it's just going to continue to do so. Only 4 pages left here on this particular market. So again, it's doubled in price, so it's kind of up to you guys. If you want to get it now, it will indefinitely go up. And it's not even so much about this card coming off the ban list. You guys are well aware it's on the ban list, and it's been there for quite a while now. But it's just the history, the artwork. There's just so much that goes into this card that just makes it a nostalgic classic for collectors. It's Gen 1 Link monster from the genesis of all Link cards from Code of the Duelist. This is a very special set, just like, I think, was it the Dual Genesis? I think that was the set that we donned Synchro Monsters, and like Generation Force, we donned the XYZ Monsters. These are transition sets, and on that merit alone, it really gives these cards a lot of power to just rapidly transition into the collector's market. Moving on to Dark Burning Magic. One thing I'll say about this is the artwork is fantastic. As you can kind of see with a lot of my content, one big thing that trends with my content is artwork. Artwork is a really big deal for me, particularly as a player and as a collector and just an investor in general. I'm really into the artists and the artwork and then putting all the details in the cards, and of course it goes into rarity and the age and all that stuff. So of course naturally this is going to be a Dark Magician support card, as you can read in the text. It is a quick play, which makes it more diverse, which is pretty nice. It is a solo print. Again, I have to put huge emphasis on the solo print because Legendary Decks 2 is the only set that you can get this card. It is a secret rare, which is a very high rarity, a really nice, very aesthetically pleasing rarity. So it's a solo print, secret rare, it's got great artwork. It is restricted pretty much solely to Dark Magician builds, but the card itself is extremely devastating. With a lot of the support coming to Dark Magician, it's really not that difficult to meet the conditions to pull this card off, and when you do, the benefit is just devastating. So it's relatively cheap too. It's about 3-ish bones to start off. Not really a lot of stacks. Most of these are 1-0s. All of these are 1-0s. Only 5+ pages on the market. So definitely wanted to showcase this. Again, I'm not a huge Dark Magician player. If I was to pick either kind of like Yugi Kabe side, I would definitely go with Blue Eyes builds. I think they're a little bit more my style as opposed to play style, kind of the way the deck runs its algorithms and its mechanics. But I think this is a fantastic pickup for all the reasons I've stated before. So you guys should check that one out. Next is going to be Macro Cosmo. So kind of playing off the whole Necroface feature from before, this is one of my personal all-time favorite Floodgate Trap cards. This is restricted to 1 currently on limited list, and it has been for years, and rightfully so. This card is ridiculously powerful. You completely just take away the graveyard with this card. Of course, we have Banisher of the Radiance and Banisher of the Light, which are basically Macrocosmos on legs, which is pretty fantastic as well. There's so many amazing rarities. They have the Dark Revelation super rare. Again, if you guys have been watching my videos, I'm really not a big fan of Dark Rev cards. I just don't think that they're worth their price points. They hold these price points because I think this set was just massively underproduced or manufactured. I'm not really so sure. Of course, the set is very old now as well, so it's going to have some age collector's value to it, but I just don't really agree with the price points because the rarities are just really not that nice, and there's just a lot better alternatives, healthier alternatives, like the Dual Terminal 6 rare. This looks way better than this. I think this rare looks amazing. It's DT, it's rare. We have 2 different ultra rare prints from Legendary Collection 2 and Raw Yellow Mega Pack. Those are great, healthy alternatives too. I'm not a big fan of ultra rares, but honestly, if you compare the price points, you get yourself a first edition ultra as opposed to a 33+ super. I mean, that's just personally the way that I would the numbers break down to me. You have 2 commons here, but really it's gonna be the dual terminal rare. That's the one that's really, I think, is gonna hold the most price point, and to me it's better. It's better than the Dark Rev one. It's cheaper and it looks better, and this is just personally the one that I would go with for all the reasons I stated before. It's looking like it's about 4-3 bones. Here's a 17 stack here, and there's only 2 pages left. There's some pretty good stacks. There's 7, 2 sets of 4, a 17 stack. Here's a 30, which is pretty incredible. It's been many years since I picked up this card. I think I want to say I picked up my copies around $1, maybe $2 a piece, but that was several years ago. It's been a very long time since I've invested in this. I personally have a couple first edition ultras myself, which look very nice as well. But if you are going to go into this, I would definitely recommend that you guys go for the DT6. Next is going to be Eater of Millions, kind of following the removal trend. We did get a hollow foil as an ultra and Relentless Revenge, and then we have the original print and the Mega 10 reprint as commons. So of course, naturally, you're going to want to go for the higher rarity Again, it's an ultra rare, so could they have made this a secret rare? I definitely think they could have. This card definitely merits a secret rare price point. I think this is a fantastic card, mostly for its second effect or last effect here. It's a pretty devastating effect. Has really cool artwork, and it's really cheap. You know, Battles of Legends, Relentless Revenge was not that long ago, so it's probably kind of why. Still relatively newer set. There's a 125 stack right here from Crazy Nick's cards, and those are about a bone a piece. So definitely affordable price points. There's plenty on the market here, some pretty fat stacks, and there's 4 pages. So would definitely take a look at this card. Next is going to be MX Saber Invoker. This card has been banned for quite a while now. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, it was kind of the Zodiac format that got this card canned and on the list. And it definitely has potential to come off. Like every card that is currently restricted or banned or limited, I'm an avid believer that everything comes off the list. It's just a matter of fact if it gets errated or not. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at, there's 2 secret rare reprints, which are both very, very nice. They have the Battles of Legend Light's Revenge, which is actually Generation, the first Battles of Legends one, which is, I mean, like a half a bone. You have the Dual Saga, again, on its own merit alone, a very, very special and unique set, because to this day, it's the only set that has a special ultra rare foiling in the card artwork, which is, again, about a $50. And then you have the original Order of Chaos secret rares, which, without even going into any further detail, naturally is going to be the oldest, the most difficult to get, and the highest rarity. So you definitely want to invest in this. And even with this card being a secret rare, only having 3 prints, and abundance of first editions being on the market, at least there was. We'll see here. No first editions on the first page. 4 pages to choose from. First edition that we're going to get is going to dawn on the second page for about 3 bones. Then it's going to go, here's another one for 3. These are 1 sets. And then moving on to page 3, we get to about the 4 or 5 range. So it is increasing in price, at least for the original print. Now, again, the Secret Rare reprint and the Dual Saga versions, do not discredit them. They are still very, very nice rarities. But when you're going to go for top dollar value, you're going to want to go for the original print. Highest rarity original print, which is going to be Order of Chaos. So it's completely up to you guys what you want to do. If you want to get the snag up the first couple ones on the first couple pages, would definitely be a well investment made. Again, this is a relatively, it's deck specific, but for all the reasons I stated before, I think this is definitely something that should be in the back of your guys' radars. Moving on really quickly, there's a couple of 6 Samurai cards that I wanted to review. First is going to be Ultimate Rare, the legendary, the one, the only, Xian. This is one of my all-time favorite synchro monsters of all time. Really kind of crazy story. When I came back into the game after graduating high school, this deck was just running rampant, and Gateway was at 3, Xian was at 3, everything was completely unlocked, and this card was just devastating everything in the meta, and it was a really annoying deck, and I really hated it a lot. And I actually, one of my best friends, I met, and he was running this deck, and it was really frustrating. I just did not want to see this deck at all in that era of Yu-Gi-Oh! But now I've come to really appreciate and like this, and now that they've kind of knocked it down a couple sets, and it's really cool. The artwork is really great, and there's a lot of cool rarities. And it's becoming if I'm so bold to say, a legacy deck. It's definitely getting up there in years and age, and I'm really starting to appreciate this deck more and more. And once in a while, it gets a little support here, which is pretty cool. Unlimiteds are starting off at a whopping 26, which is pretty incredible. That's kind of a new high that I'm aware of. There's no first editions on the first 2 pages, and on the last page, we dawn our first editions, which are starting out at 65 bones, quickly moves to 73, and then trickles all the way down to 77. So definitely some price increase in that. I mean, why not? It's an infamous synchro monster. It's an ultimate rare, which is, relatively hard to come by now in this generation of Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's just an amazing card. And Six Samurai, I think it's safe to say, is a relatively fan favorite deck. There is a lot of different builds that you can run. It's a relatively easy deck to pilot, and it's a fun deck. I have to admit, it is a very, very fun deck, and there's a lot of good, rich history behind this deck. Also, there is the secret rare reprints Dying on a Spirit Warriors, which is still holding a very affordable price point, around $2-3. The other card I wanted to talk about was the original prints of Kizan. Kizan is definitely one of my favorite. The artwork is just fantastic. He's got like this dojo and the moonlight that's coming through the window. And he's got his katana and the dark black armor. It's just, the artwork is fantastic. This is definitely one of my favorites when it comes to aesthetics and to artwork. There's several different versions. I think there was also another super rare version, but of course this being the original, being the oldest, it's going to hold the most value, and it's going to be the most for collector's value as well. And it's just a fantastic card. This is a 3 of must. Every build that I play, how can you not run a playset of this card? It's just a fantastic card all around. Not really much for the unlimiteds. It's about 3-ish bones if you factor in shipping for the first edition here. And there is 3 of, so these are all 1 stacks, only 4 pages on the market. Here, there's another one for, again, roughly around 3, and then 3 again. Unfortunately, these are mostly all just 1 of, so it's kind of hard to get a stack if that's what you're looking for, if you don't have any yet. But they are slowly, I'm surprised, you know, if there was stacks, it would be a lot more easier. I mean, here's a stack here, but it jumps all the way to almost 6. So it definitely increases when you start getting to the stacks and towards the end of the pages here. But I just wanted to showcase this really quick because, again, Six Samurais, they have a special place in my heart. A lot of rich history behind them, and they just have some amazing artwork, and it's a really fun deck, and it's just definitely a deck core that is relatively inexpensive, and it's just good to have on deck. Next is going to be Dual Power. So Dual Power was huge. Konami had a huge success from this set, and it generated the next, I think they had either 2 or 3 more of these sets that they produced relatively quickly after Dual Power, just because Dual Power was so successful and made them so much money. And I remember everyone, even myself, was like going to site after site after site. This set was completely sold out. All the pre-ordering, people just went crazy for this set. This was the first set in a long time that we had seen such crazy reprints. I think this was the first set that we got since, you know, the majority of the Legendary Collection sets that we had seen such amazing reprints. And it's holding pretty good value. Of course, Infinite Permanent still holding the top spot, around 30 plus, evenly matched around 26. Nasher, still this being a solo print, holding around 13, 14. We have Ash Blossoms holding around 9, 10. Galaxy Soldiers about 5. Necros of Bryonics about 4, 7. We have Double Utopia, and it just, the list kind of goes on and on and on. But more specifically, why I wanted to quickly spotlight this set is for the Police Patrol card, because that is also still, and now granted, Dual Power is not an old set by any means. It's still very new, in my opinion. But Beat Cop from the Underworld, this is a solo print dawning from Dupo as an ultra rare. Of course, the whole set was ultra rare. Amazing artwork. Not the best card when it comes to being meta defining or an effect, but my stance on this card is, as of right now, I don't think it's going to stay a solo print for very long. I think it does have potential for getting reprint, hopefully in a secret rare variant. I think it would just look gorgeous in a secret rare variant. But the artwork is fantastic. It adds to the whole Underworld tour guide / themed cards, and it's extremely cheap. It is a bone, not even a bone, and there's not really too many stacks here, but there's 5+ pages, so you guys can hunt down a stack if you want. I personally have kept every single copy of this card. I invested very heavily. I bought multiple cases of this set, and I'm saving all of my Beat Cosmo Underworld personally because I think it has great potential, depending on its reprint status, of becoming a collector's card, solely based on its artwork alone. Everyone went nuts for Tour Guide, and as the next card I'm about to show you, Tour Bus, which was definitely not meta-defining by any means either. Go back to Tour Bus really quick so I can kind of finish off this theme. Now, Tour Bus was the second card to kind of be incorporated to this themed card. I believe it was Extreme Victory is when we saw Tour Guide, and Tour Guide was literally so meta-defining. It was such a game changer. XYZs had literally just come out. It was an instant rank 3, and the artwork alone was just so inspiring to so many people. This is personally Tour Guide is my favorite monster card to date. Very, very significant for me. I've based a lot of things off of the artwork, and I'm just a big fanboy of Tour Guide. So much so that I have an augmented version tattoo, actually, of Tour Guide. I'm just such a fanboy of Tour Guide. Played a really vital role in my Yu-Gi-Oh style and kind of whole bunch of stuff. So, looking at Tour Bus, though, this is a relatively terrible card. No one really is going to play this card for its effect, but it's the collector's value. It's the artwork. It's it being a secret rare. This being the highest rarity. There is a couple other versions, but really nothing comes close to just the beautiful aesthetics of this secret rare. Dawning from Order of Chaos, which is a relatively quite ancient set now, and there's no first editions here on the first page again. Now, when I talk about these cards, it's always first edition. These are more specifically targeted toward collector's world, collector's value, so you have to go first edition. I cannot put enough emphasis on that. The first edition we're going to get here is going to be about 6, and then there's only 4 pages here. Moving on to the third page, there's another one for about 5, 6 here as well, and then there's one for about 8, and then it goes to about 9, and slowly kind of trickles up after there. This card, I remember picking up this card for like $2, $3, and very rarely $5, so it's drawing up. There used to be pages and pages and pages, probably because I've been buying a lot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've borderline been trying to kind of buy this card, buy this card out specifically for the secret rare first editions because I really believe in this card. I think it has great potential to hit some pretty top dollar prices and really make its way into the collector's market. Next card is going to be Rescue Rabbit. More specifically, the original print secret rare drawing from Photon Shockwave. Of course, you got the Collector's 2012 10 super rares, which actually look relatively nice, and they're holding a relatively good price point. You have the common from the Dino Smasher Fury structure deck. Let's take a look at the OG secret rares. This card reminds me, I don't know why, but every time I see this card, I think of like confetti birthday cake sprinkles on like a cupcake or something. But really cutesy, deep, very, very vivid secret rare foiling. It's just so predominant in this version specifically. It looks really, really great. An all-around popular and just powerful card. When this card first came out, it was like $100+. This card was like insanely expensive. This was a very special time in Yu-Gi-Oh! XYZs were just popping off like crazy. And there's a lot of rich history behind this card and a lot of great nostalgic memories. The first editions that we see here is going to be 40 bones. And it's going to jump to 45, and that's going to quickly trickle up after that. Only 2 pages left on this. So it's pretty incredible. This is an all-new high for this card. I mean, it's not near where it was when it first came out. That was a completely different game back then. And this was just game-changing. Special Link summoning 2 from the deck was just completely unheard of before Rescue Rabbit. This was the OG original one. Tour Guide came first, and then this kind of took over for Tour Guide in a way. And it's kind of that same era of Yu-Gi-Oh! So just really rich history, amazing artwork, amazing effect, and it's got a new price tag of $40. So I just wanted to showcase that for you guys really quick. So reviewing back to Zombie Horde. Horde. I regret so terribly not following my rule for structure decks when they don a structure deck that's really popular, or that I think is going to be very popular amongst the players. And I usually go onto eBay. It's mostly eBay, but sometimes I'll use other sites. But the majority of the time it's eBay, and I'll buy a couple cases, first edition sealed, and I'll just save them. I keep them in good condition, sealed. I usually get some of those plastic drawer dresser things, and you just kind of stick them in there, and you just kind of forget about them. You kind of just save them, because now, granted, this was I think this. I don't know if it was the end of 2018 or the beginning of 2019. This is still a relatively new structure deck. I think it's only like the third oldest one out, or the third newest one. And yeah, it's just insane. Mostly just because if you guys have watched my videos before, I have a huge stance on structure decks. This is one of them. Obviously, you can just see it in the making. I mean, Banshee, Necro World Banshee is holding up almost a $7 price point. We got Battle Roach, which is about $5. Glow Up Boom, which is about $4. And Solitaire apparently is holding a couple bones for its common print, which is surprising. So with that just alone, plus all the other great reprints that are just in here, but more specifically just being a collector's deck, being sealed, being, again, specifically the first edition runs, and it's zombies, and it's good. Like, there's a lot of zombie players out here, and this just completely changed zombie builds. It gave them some negation. It gave them some really a really big control. It gave them a lot of power and a lot of control to change the game state of the game, making a zombie world just completely just you can get it from anywhere with Banshee. It's insane, and it's a quick play, and it has solo print and amazing artwork, and I really like this card a lot. This is definitely amongst Battle Roach, this is like the MVP of this whole structure deck. This is what really makes this structure deck so special. This is just such a ridiculous card. I mean, just its effect, its artwork, its rarity, everything is just really nice about this card. And I don't want to make this mistake again. I thought about it. I actually had several of these in my cart in eBay, and I was going to purchase them, and I just decided I did not want to spend the money. I did not want to invest this set, and I'm heavily regretting it now. Another one that I actually did invest in was Soul Burner for Salmon Gray. I got, I think, 2 or 3 cases of that first edition, and then it was Shaddoll Showdown. Shaddoll Showdown, now it's getting very difficult to get that. I mean, I've pretty much already scooped up the last copies that I could from Target and Walmart, and I haven't purchased any offline because they're kind of getting to that point where they're going well above the original $10 price point. But that is another one. It's just a huge fan favorite deck. Shaddolls are very diverse. They're very splashful. You can do a lot of blending combinations with them. Relatively easy to pilot, and just an all-around fan favorite deck. So there's Zombie Horde, there's Soul Burner, there's Layer of Darkness. I think that is a hugely underrated one. Now that's relatively older now, so it's more difficult and expensive to acquire. That is another set I really regret not investing in structure deck wise. But there's just so many amazing structure decks out there that you just can go and buy and get them mad cheap. Sometimes you buy them online, you can get even cheaper, like buy them in bulk, you can get them even cheaper than $10 a structure deck, and just get them first edition, keep them sealed, keep them in a box somewhere, keep them nice, and I promise you, you're going to get some great return on that investment. Next is going to be Neteria Bamboo Shoot. So this is specifically the ultra rare version. There is an ultimate rare version which is holding I think it's well, I'll check it out in a little bit here, but this is the ultra rare versions. This card is just extremely good. Now, granted, you kind of have to play an actual Neteria deck to pop this effect off. Artwork is pretty cool. It's kind of out there. I don't really know what's going on here, but it's pretty cool for what it is. It's an earth plant, so that kind of fits the bill for plant stuff. And why not? Who's to say Konami's not going to give us more Neteria support? Now, granted, it's a relatively old deck, so maybe we've come due, maybe we haven't. But this card is like this card alone, this and like Rose Whip makes me kind of want to just mess around, make some kind of like anti-meta Neteria deck because these cards are just so ridiculously powerful. It's pretty insane. So this is the original Ultra Rare. And unlimiteds aren't really worth much. We got one first edition here for about four-ish plus if you factor in shipping, and same with this here. And then there's two of here. Only 3 pages of this. And of course there is the ultimate rare, which I'm going to get to here shortly. It's about 4 plus, so you can kind of get the picture. It's not really an expensive card, but it's kind of at the point where you're kind of uncomfortable, paying a couple dollars here and there for this one-ums. But I think in the long run, I think this card has huge potential to grow. I personally am debating about investing in this card because I really do believe in it. It's just kind of at that price point where you're just not really sure for the ultra rare specifically. But if we take a look at the ultimate rares, which just look completely just gorgeous in my opinion. I'm a big fan of ultimate rares. Some look good, some don't look too good. I think this is one of those that looks very, very good. I think the ultra looks good. I don't normally like ultras, but even the ultra looks good. I think they did pretty well with the artwork here on this card. And again, it's Duelist Revolution, which was such... This set was a revolution. It really changed the game. There was got Solemn Warning. We got Pot of Duality. There was just so many, Effect Failure. There was a lot of just really good cards that came. They were just completely game changing from this set. The unlimiteds here are sitting around 8. And there's only 2 pages left of this. It looks like some people probably bought some of these. Yes, people definitely have been buying these because when I was checking yesterday, I think there was a couple from around 2023. Now, the cheapest first edition is a 1 stack for $28. Then it quickly moves to $50 for this in Ultimate Rare. So you may want to check. Again, I might just be a little slow on the game here. I was checking out eBay as well, and it kind of averaged around 23, 25, 27 for first edition lightly played ultra rares as well. So completely up to you guys. The ultra rare, original, just normal ultra rares are still available. Now, again, I am an avid fan about going big, going high rarity, and all that, big time collector's value. But keep in mind that this only has technically a solo print because it's all one in one set. Duelist Revolution as an ultra, as an ultimate. So don't overlook the ultra rares. The ultra rares still have potential to grow. It's never going to be on the same level as ultimate rare, but you can definitely pass through with probably a little bit of profit, even investing in the ultra rares. Alright, so I think that was it. So the last thing I wanted to mention for you guys tonight was there's a seller on eBay, GG Min High. This is a China-based seller on eBay. I've been buying mats for them for quite a while. They have amazing quality, which is very surprising. I mean, no disrespect, but usually things that come from China are not the best quality. I will put my word on this. I will give my testimony. They do fantastic quality mats. I've personally spent probably several $100s now with this seller on all the different variants of mats. Here we have a very gorgeous, one of my personal favorites. I have a couple copies of this myself. Dark Magician Girl in her OCG artwork, uncensored, in this black and purple armor. Just looks fantastic. This is one of plenty of amazing mats that they have here. Again, it is from China, so you have been warned. It does take forever for these things to be delivered, but they always get delivered. They never get lost. The average time I want to say is about 30 days, about a month to 30 days is about the delivery time because it's slow, and I mean it's coming from all across the world depending on where you're viewing from, but it's very good quality, and it's relatively, it's kind of, usually I don't pay almost around 30 bones for a mat. That seems kind of steep for me, but there is a lot of really cool mats, and they're all very good quality. So I would definitely check it out. I'm trying to kind of change it up and show you a little something else besides just cards in these videos. So I want to start incorporating things of kind of like side things, maybe like you know, hardware, pro gear on the side or something like that. So I just felt like kind of changing something up today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I hope you guys are making some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourself. I have social media. The link will be below to my Facebook and the link below the video. I would love to hear from each and every one of you guys. I would love to hear your suggestions, your ideas. Just simply talk about Yu-Gi-Oh together. This game has been a part of my life in and out for so many years, and it is such a big love and passion in my life. So I would love to just discuss anything with you guys Yu-Gi-Oh related, and I just think it would be a really good time. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.